We'll go to Bishop Grady laying out what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, yesterday, Congress actually passed or invoked the War Resolutions Act, where basically, and this comes from 1973, but it's never been invoked before. Basically, it's saying that the U.S. government cannot engage in war without congressional approval. Now, since 73, as we know, or many of us do, the presidents have been declaring war and bombing on shit or whatever without anybody's approval. That's the way that's supposed to make it all democratic or whatever. That's supposed to include our ideas, because we vote for the people that actually supposed to either sanction this or refuse it. Now this actually has to do with what's been going on in Yemen. Saudi Arabia has been for the past several years bombing the fuck out of Yemen, causing the world's largest humanitarian crisis. You're talking about millions at risk of starvation and getting cholera and all of that, whatever. Well, now that is to an end. And Trump wants to veto it. Green Wall graduation. For the New World Order, Bishop Grady laying out what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Ethiopia yesterday, they actually released preliminary findings that showed that, from their investigation of the Ethiopian airline crash that killed 157 people, they were able to determine that it actually came from a software malfunction. Like, the pilots didn't do anything wrong. They followed all procedures, but there was something in the software, something new that was installed in these Boeing 737 MAX 8 that actually pushed the nose down and wasn't allowing them to pull it back up or whatever. Now that happened, and then last year in October, the Indonesian Lion Air lines crash that killed 189 people. So this basically led to, well, I'm not gonna say it led, but Boeing CEO also apologized yesterday, sent out a video apology for the malfunctioning. And, you're talking about over 300 bodies due to improper malfunctioning, man. Y'all engineers, y'all gotta keep y'all game fucking tight. Green Wall and graduation. We'll go to Bishop Grady laying out what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Donald Trump rescinded his threat against Mexico, which actually would have been a self-inflicted wound. But nevertheless, he had threatened Mexico and by saying he would close the ports of entry along the U.S.-Mexico border if they don't basically handle the immigration crisis, where people from Central America are actually coming up through the border trying to get into America, and they're going through Mexico to do so, and also bringing drugs in or whatever. So I think I honestly just feed into the narrative of that he's been, these lies that he's been spewing anyway. And to me, let me just say, so instead of that or that threat, he said he gave them a 1-year time period and said if they don't fix the situation, he's going to impose tariffs on the car industry. Now, two things. First off, isn't that a spit in the face after all of this NAFTA negotiation that's been going on, the North American Free Trade Agreement between us, them, and Canada? Secondly, aren't there mostly American car companies that are exporting cars from Mexico? Help me out, y'all. Green Wall and graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady laying out what the fuck going on for this BFN report. 280 people in Allen, Texas were actually caught up in a raid, ICE raid. ICE being Immigration and Customs Enforcement, basically the police for immigration, and they came and swooped up 280 people. That's a lot. They went to this technology repair company. Now, it of course begs the question, like, well, who's running these companies that's actually employing these immigrants? Why aren't they held accountable? Because a lot of times these are people that are making millions and billions. Like, let's keep it a buck. But nevertheless, this was all done. It seemed as being related to Trump actually traveling to Calexico, Mexico, Texas, pardon me, to actually see these like 30-foot tall portions of the border wall that were built today. But it's just all hell that they putting up, all in the name of racism. You dig? Green Wall and graduation. We will go to Bishop Grady laying out what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, United Nations backed government in Libya is actually at risk of being toppled. So there was a renegade army commander that actually runs the Benghazi-based Libya National Army. They advanced their forces on the capital of Libya, which is Tripoli. Now, this is, so as a result, the United Nations actually called, the United Nations Security Council specifically, actually called an emergency meeting because they need to handle that. Now, it should be understood that since 2011, under Obama, when the U.S. backed NATO-led intervention of Libya that actually ended up toppling and killing Muammar Gaddafi, the authoritarian leader. There's been a bunch of like little factional wars ever since then. So and just more proof that our intervention doesn't seem to be helping. Green War and graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting you know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, I told y'all about Cyclone Idai, I-D-A-I, that's how you spell it, right? This cyclone actually hit Mozambique, it hit Malawi, and it also hit Zimbabwe. Now, Mozambique was hit in the most affected or whatever. They actually lost 600 people so far. And the United Nations is warning that 1.8 million people there actually in Mozambique. You know, this is a country. It's not a state. This is a country. 1.8 million people are actually facing some serious problems, including like starvation, or whatever. There've been 1,400. There've been 600 dead, and there've been 1,400 cases of people catching cholera as a result of like contaminated food and water that comes from the destruction of these caused by these natural disasters. So, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people want to pray for other countries, and make sure y'all pray for Africa, man. Green War and graduation. We will do the Bishop Grady laying over what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, yesterday the House of Representatives actually voted to reenact the Violence Against Women Act, which is a 1994 provision that had, I guess, been like, you know, fell off, but is being reenacted. What it basically does is takes guns away from dating partners that have been convicted of stalking or convicted of domestic abuse. Now, of course, the Republicans and the NRA or whatever, they're up in arms about this, and it faces an uphill battle in going through the Senate. But that's what the House of Representatives want, which I think is more representative of what the people want. Nevertheless, it is it's crazy too though. Like y'all females, like y'all be wanting niggas that like got some toughness to them, or you know, play with guns or whatever. It's like everybody want to be with a robber, shooter, or killer until a nigga robber, shooter, or killer. You know what I mean? Yo, stay woke. Green War and graduation, man. Get your shit straight. The New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, I got some news for y'all, man. This dude actually is an alma mater. He's a fellow Morehouse man. Herman Cain used to be the CEO of Godfather's Pizza, a millionaire. He actually ran for president in 2012. But he actually dropped out also when 3 women accused him of sexual assault. And, you know, he found out that he had an extramarital affair with one or whatever. But I ain't going to judge that because, you know, bitches be lying sometimes. We don't know. But nevertheless, Donald Trump wants to nominate this Republican black man that went to Morehouse to actually be on the Federal Reserve Board. Now, this is a big deal. Federal Reserve, they actually regulate the money in this country, and he's always been a proponent for regressive taxation, basically, you know what I mean, lower taxes, and actually wants to take us back to the gold standard, which I'm not completely against, but I don't know. We'll see. This is just an interesting twist. Green War and graduation. Support of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting you know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. More scandal from the White House. Now, Trump think he's slick. He's actually nominated Michael J. Desmond to be the IRS's special counsel. He's basically like the top lawyer for the IRS. Now, this is seen as funny, and he's asking for like a speedy confirmation from the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, fellow Republican or whatever. He pretty much got all the Republicans under his thumb to do what they want. He got to do what they want. They all worship big money. It seems like. I'm not trying to paint or brush over all of y'all, but come on, man, what the fuck? So he wants to speed this recovery up. But now, if y'all follow me, y'all know that I told y'all that the House Ways and Means Committee earlier this week actually formally requested the IRS hand over like tax returns of the past 6 years of Donald Trump. And this will now be vetted by Michael Desmond. So we'll see how this pans out. Green War and graduation though. Hold up, the New World Order, Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on. Now, Julian Assange, he fucked up on this one. You know you fucked up, right? You done fucked up, right? Now, mind you, he's been holed up in the in the Ecuadorian embassy since 2012. The Ecuadorian embassy over in London. Now, why would you want to piss off the president of Ecuador? Well, that's exactly what they did, because WikiLeaks actually uncovered this growing corruption scandal that actually had to do with the president of Ecuador. Now, everybody's obviously seeing a correlation between the two. But now with him, so now they're saying that he's going to be released within days. If he comes out, he's basically going to get extradited to the United States. The United States wants to arrest him for violating the Espionage Act. So he fucked up. You know what I mean? He could be expelled from this embassy within days or hours. So, man, you know, we'll see how this pans out, man. Green Wall and graduation, though. What other new will do the Bishop Grady laying over the fuck going on for this BFN report now? Chelsea Manning used to be a U.S. Army a soldier by the name of Bradley Manning before he actually dumped a bunch of information to WikiLeaks about like the U.S. and the Pentagon, their involvement with the Afghanistan war, and them not being legit with the people or whatever. Gets arrested, actually has a sex change while he's in jail, finally gets out. But then this past, you know, after the sex change goes by Chelsea Manning, I actually ran for government seat in Maryland or whatever, but recently was actually jailed for not testifying regarding WikiLeaks back in March 8th, and has just today gotten out of solitary confinement after 28 days. So everybody's calling, you know, a lot of people who are in government and, you know, on the side of justice, whatever, calling for his release. But, you know what I mean? Green Wall and graduation, just letting y'all know. Go to Bishop Grady laying over the fuck going on for this BFN report. Now, the Justice Department actually has declared Alabama's prison system as broken. Never mind that the whole prison system in the United States is broken. So that just shows you how fucked up it is in Alabama. Mind you, 8 weeks back, in Holman's prison, at Holman's prison, they actually had a hunger strike because people were purposely cutting off the water to punish the inmates or whatever. So the inmates went on a hunger strike that got a lot of people's attention. Well, the Justice Department just released this report talking about how like the people are like the COs are basically highly undertrained, they're understaffed, and it leads to like routine like abuses, rapes, even, and all of that shit. Now, I'm saying this, I know a lot of jail niggas follow me or whatever, so it's kind of like, I know y'all probably know about shit like this, but it's happening at a rampant rate over there in Alabama. So, you know what I mean? If you got people in jail over there, man, you know, just send a positive energy. Green Wall and graduation, man. The new will do the Bishop Grady laying over the fuck going on for this BFN report. Over in New Mexico, actually, they actually decriminalized small marijuana possession. You know what I mean? Things that used to be able to get you 15 days in jail. Little bits of weed or whatever. Now it's punishable by a $50 fine. So, you know, that's looked at as being kind of progressive. I mean, they are trying to legalize the recreational use of weed, but it kind of took a stall in, you know, the state Congress over there or whatever. So, you know, we'll see what happens, man. They just actually got changed Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day or whatever, and now this, so they seeming a little progressive over there in New Mexico. I hope it's not a farce. You know what I'm saying? But that's what's happening, man. Green Wall and graduation. Everybody else need to pay attention and get your states and your cities and all of that to follow suit. This is the direction we need to go to, man. Stop overcrowding these motherfucking prisons, man. Straight like that, though. Green Wall and graduation, like I said.